Thanks, Eden. Appreciate it. Well, we're back in the kitchen now with one of the area's top chefs. This is Ken Hall. He's now the executive chef at St. Brennan's. He started out at the Green Bay Country Club. Been all over the country, a graduate of the Culinary School Institute of America, where all the top chefs go. And he was the first guy I called when we got a wonderful new knife set from the folks at Cook's Corner. We've got some Hinkle knives, and well, good to see you, by the way.
Well, good to see you.
Ken
Thank you for having me.
knows the story because when I got these knives, I called him crying. Ken, I am a creature of habit. I'm a cooking mom. I'm not a chef. I'm loving to learn, but I have small little hands, and I feel comfortable with a paring knife. So for the last couple of years, you've seen me cut everything with a paring knife, and I know I'm ready to change. I'm ready to learn, and you know, if you want to take things to the next level, you got to take a risk and you got to get out there. So we've got these great knives, and I don't know how to use them.
Well, I can help with that.
All right, excellent.
And you scare me with a paring knife, by the way. You do scare me.
You know,
but that's beside the point.
I know, but I meet these little ladies in this kitchen, and they do everything with a paring knife. So,
Yep.
you know, but I know people are really into cooking. They're really into, you know, I didn't grow up with fancy knives. You know, we had what we had. But people now want to go buy and invest in wonderful tools for the job. And so, you know, if you can, why not? So I'm going to stop talking. You're going to show me.
Okay, so what you have over here is you've got your paring knife here.
Okay.
You've got...
What you want in the drawer, probably.
Paring knife, all knives have a purpose.
Okay.
Your bread knife, of course, for a crusty bread like this. You don't want to go with a
that.
French knife because you saw and you don't do anything. So you
Okay.
need the saw for that.
Okay.
Your Santuco here, now the neat thing is it's segregated here on the side. This helps the vegetables from sticking. So this is a very good vegetable knife.
You're seeing a lot of these on the chef shows. People love these. This is is it a newer knife? It seems like it.
It's a newer knife, but
Okay.
it's small.
Okay.
It's not a real long blade on there. You know, in comparison to my French knife, I like the longer French knife. It's control for me, but I also am dealing with larger batches of vegetables.
Okay.
Where here you're dealing with smaller vegetables,
Sure.
things like that. So this is a good knife.
Okay.
Now this will help from sticking. This is your utility knife.
This is my everything knife.
That's your everything knife. And the reason it's rounded, so you don't go like this, you let the knife do the work.
Okay.
It's round, that way you're coming. The one thing is you don't want to come back towards yourself because then your hand hides your fingers and
Got
that's
it.
when you end up getting cut.
So you don't need, I mean, it'd be wonderful to buy this huge set of knives, but basically you use these 3 knives to do it all.
These 3 knives, and then I use a fillet knife as well.
Got it. So
One,
chef's knife, Sanduco knife, and paring knife.
right.
If you're going to start out with. All right, so get me started. Bread knife. We
And
like
a
the
bread knife. You need your bread knife. So we'll go ahead, cut about inch thick. And you
right.
want to saw a little bit. And sometimes if it gets tough down near the bottom, saw to the crust, then take your chef's knife and use the weight and crush through it at the end.
Beautiful. I tell you, I'm loving this because this really gets the job done, and I love bread, and I definitely was using the wrong knife for that, and this is a no-brainer.
Yep, that's nice and easy. And another thing, when you have, say, things like rutabagas that are real tough and hard, it's nice to cut the ends off with a serrated knife.
Okay, good to know.
So a serrated knife is not only
Not
for
just for
bread. If you have something that's very tough that you feel unsure about, or your knife isn't really, really sharp, and it's not going to slice right through it, you can use that to get it started so that you have a flat surface to work with.
All right, veggies. Let's talk
Veggies.
about, I was using, again, paring knife for everything, not what you're supposed to be doing.
Not necessary. Again, this is probably the most utilizable knife right now. So on your veggies, take that out.
Sanduco you're using
Yep.
here.
What I like to do is I can see inside and I can see where these lines are. So we'll come down this way, take this out, and then we'll just cut the end off. That way you don't have all the seeds all over.
Okay, so your Sanduco or your chef knife for vegetables?
Right, right. And then let's just say you want a julienne. So first what I would do is I like to take this little rib out.
Okay.
And then your julienne, you always put your fingers this way so that the knife is up against your fingers.
Okay.
And then you just let the knife, it's rounded.
Right.
Yep.
Grab a little
You
pepper.
take one,
Okay.
put the tip down and then down. So that way it rocks.
What I have been noticing is because this knife is bigger, I'm doing a lot less work. You know what I mean? We're chopping a lot more. Been practicing a little bit with these guys. Okay.
That's good. Now, this is your julienne, of course. If you want to dice, you put them this way.
Sure.
And
just
again,
line
the
them up
same
and-
thing.
Okay.
You put your tip down,
Okay.
and then you rock the knife forward. There shouldn't be a lot of noise going if you're just doing simple little vegetable things. Your knife doesn't have to make a lot of noise. You let the knife do the work.
Got it.
So we have that. Now let's say we want to go to a tomato.
Got it.
Okay. Tomato, I like to take my paring knife.
Paring knife, yay.
And I just go around this way to take the core out.
Okay.
Then start at the bottom and go this way and into quarters.
Okay.
So now if you want to dice it, you can come this way. There's a lot of different ways to do it. I find with Roma tomatoes, if you quarter it and then you break it down this way, you don't lose as much of your seeds. A lot of people will just cut down into rings.
Let's
and
move
then
on to
dice it.
onions, because onions, that's something that we cut up a lot here
Yes.
at on the show. I mean, it seems like just you use onions all the time.
Right. Okay, so your yellow onion, first thing you want to do, cut your ends off this way.
That I do. So I was
Yep.
getting that right.
Then take your paring knife, and you can see where the layers are. And you just want to come into that first layer and pull from the top down
Get all the skins off.
and get all the skin off.
So that's what the paring knife does, come in.
Yep, because the paring knife, what you want it to be is comfortable in your hand. It's nice, it's small, it fits in the palm of your hand.
Yes, it
And you
does.
can work with it. But the blade isn't long enough to go all the way through,
Yeah, you
so
can
you
see
don't
that,
want to
yeah.
try and go
Yeah.
all the way through with the paring knife.
Okay. So Sanduko for this or the chef's knife?
Chef's knives.
Okay, all right.
And again, you want to push forward. Push forward and down, and then you can make your nice rings.
Got it.
And then if you want to do something else, you want to cut it in half so that you have a flat layer.
Okay.
Then when you go to dice it, just use the tip this way. And then you come back across and you can get a nice dice.
All right, we're just about out of time for this segment. Ken's going to stick around and do some basic vinaigrettes. What would be the one thing that you're going to use your paring knife for a lot?
I like to use it for peeling vegetables.
All right, good. Me too. I wanted to make sure I was doing something right here.
Absolutely.
So I'll just keep peeling vegetables.
Peeling
with it.
vegetables and working with small things that fit in the palm of your hand, you use a smaller knife. The bigger it is, the bigger the knife.
Got it. All right. Chef's knife, Sanduko, and the paring. Those are the 3 knives, and maybe a bread knife. 4 knives everybody should use. Ken's going to stick around. We're going to make some homemade salad dressings coming up, and we'll be right back, so stay with us.
When the ordinary just won't do, no worries, Home Boutique. Home accessories that state your style. No worries. A gift as unique as your friendship. No worries. When the ordinary just won't do, no